Welcome to the Ministry to Stories podcast. And I have my friend Kristian, who is going to be our guest today. Kristian, I have no idea what your story is all about. So I would love just to jump in and give it to you.
Let's jump in. Well, I have two stories, both of which I'm titling under the category of Wish I Had a Trap Door. You know those moments? We all have those moments,
Oh,
right? But these are
yes.
two that come to mind that I wish I had a trap door. One happened on stage and one happened in groups, both of which I'm like, I need to get out of this situation. And so the first one, I'm going to talk about the one in groups. And it was my first youth pastor job. And I was really young, but I had a great team. And initially I was leading middle school boys myself. And then I was so excited. I finally onboarded a new middle school leader. And this middle school leader was a young adult man. And I knew him because he had led groups for me in the past or at another campus of our church. And so he was great. He had led middle school all the way to high school. His boys graduated. Then he was moving to my area. I was like, hey, let me recruit you. Come join our team. And he's such a solid guy. And so I was really excited. And the first week, I remember he kind of shadowed me. He kind of stayed in the background in group, and participated, kind of pitched in a little bit. But it was when we got to prayer requests, um, that middle school boys. I mean, you lead middle school boys, and so middle school
Yes.
boys.
Oh,
But
you
prayer
never know what can
requests
happen. You just know it's
got
going to be awkward and weird
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Well, this one was a regular part of prayer requests. They're like praying, like it's always Grandma Barb. Like, can you pray for Grandma Barb? And can you pray for my school? Or can you pray for this test? And then this is when my new leader pitches in and he steps out and he goes, hey guys, like I just want you to know we can really ask for anything. Like this is a safe space for anything. I was like, okay, go off. I'm not gonna name his name, but he's like really encouraging them to be vulnerable and that this is a safe space. And he talks about confession. I'm like, okay, clock it. Yes, do your thing. And
Yeah.
then he starts saying like, and we can confess here. We can talk about, hey, if you're struggling with masturbation or pornography, in middle school, I was like, okay, true. Yeah, share that. But a middle school boy, sixth grader, raises his hand and asks in the middle of our group, and we have maybe 12 middle school boys, sixth to eighth grade. And he's like, um, what's masturbation?
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, this
Oh.
is where I would like a trapdoor. You weren't supposed to be the one to share what masturbation was. And so before
Oh.
before that leader was able to share another word and get in, I pitched and I was like, we can talk after group. Why don't you, me, new leader, and dad talk when you get typed up, buddy? And so like
That's a great
that's
response,
that's
by
how
the
I got
way.
out of it.
Yeah.
But that meant I had to talk to parent. And that was a fun conversation too. But
I'm
I
sure it
needed a
was.
trapdoor.
Yeah. Good for you on, quick thinking on that, right? Because sometimes in those situations I freeze and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to say or do. And sometimes I say the wrong thing. So
Yeah. I know.
good
And
response though. Yeah, well done.
those middle school boys. And at first, me and this new leader, we looked at each other and he was like, are you serious? Like, you don't know? But maybe he didn't.
You
And
never know. Yeah, yeah.
that was it. Yeah, you never know.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you weren't sure if he was like just pulling your leg or
exactly.
and he just wanted you to like have an awkward moment
I
yourself and he's setting you
know.
up. Yeah.
And then later we realized, I think that like he was pretty
He
serious.
was genuine.
But
Mhm.
yeah, that led to a really fun, awkward conversation with parent that yeah, but that was fun. And like
How
parent
did the parent
completely
take it?
understood.
What was I keep hitting the microphone. What was his response?
No, the parent took it really well. It's a really involved parent and family in our church at the time, and yeah, I never saw him again. Just kidding. No.
You never saw him again.
No, he was like,
He fell through the trap door.
no, he's like, they're learning about this kind of stuff in school,
Mhm.
about like sexual education, and he's like, and if when it comes to that kind of stuff, he's like, if they don't learn it from the right places and the right sources, they're gonna learn it from maybe the world and
Yeah.
through media, and so, yeah, that was a good conversation, but in the moment, I was like, man, oh, and I was a new youth pastor. It was probably within a year of me starting. And so I'm like,
Right.
what do
So
I
you're
even
fresh.
do? Are you supposed to ask that? And but it was good. It was good.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
good pivot and no trap door, but you created your own. So love it.
Mm-hmm. This
And
next
the thing
one,
about
oh,
middle school is you just got to be prepared for the weird
anything,
and the awkward at any moment and
anything.
just kind of roll with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think 6th through 8th grade, you're learning a lot. And also it's a big range where like there's the really young sixth
Yeah.
graders, but there's also like maybe really mature 8th graders. And so it's a really big range. But
Oh, 100%. And just to use the group of ninth grade guys that I was with and I just moved to San Francisco.
yeah, yeah.
So, but I was with that group for 3.5 years. And that group is really interesting because it's a perfect example of what you're talking about. There's this one kid who's actually the youngest of all of them, but he's like 6'3" right now. And like he had, as a sixth grader, he already had a little mustache and he was
Oh
like
my
hitting puberty way
gosh.
before everybody else. And he looked like, the oldest kid, but he was actually the youngest kid.
Yeah, that's funny because one of my current leaders calls this kid in our ministry. He's a sophomore now, but he calls this kid boss baby because when he was in 7th and 8th grade, he had a full-on mustache.
Yeah,
And so he
exactly.
calls this kid, "Hey boss baby." Like the
Yeah.
movie, I guess. Yeah,
Hmm.
mature young baby, but yeah,
Love it.
that's fun.
Love it.
All right, this
All
next
right. And you
story
have another
also
story,
wish, yeah,
trap door.
wish I had a trapdoor. This one happened on stage, the
Oh,
middle of
that's
a
the
midweek.
worst.
Yeah, it
Can I just
is.
pause you there? That's the worst. Whatever that is, when you have that feeling in a small group, tolerable.
Oh
But
yeah,
in,
12
in front
students.
of everybody else.
Yeah, this one
But we've all been there. We've all
this
been
one
there.
I did not know. Really didn't know how to get out of it. And I really stumbled and fumbled and it was
Mm.
something. And it's funny. I'm a share it after I say this. I texted my group chat of other youth pastors in our area or part of our church network, and I was like, "This just happened. You won't believe it." And everybody one by one, they're like, "No way, rookie mistake. Who would like who would have done that?" Like, and so I was like, "Well, I will never do that again." Anyway, so I was leading a game. Obviously, everybody loves a good game.
Right.
Middle schoolers up front because they're the most active and participant. They're the most hype and excited. And this game, or this midweek in particular, was our Christmas service.
Mm.
So a
Oh, so
bunch
it's
of
a big
fun
one.
games. Yeah. Big one, big invite, a lot of people in the room, 6th through 12th graders.
Yeah.
And so, of course, this game was Christmas themed and mid banter in the game. I don't even remember what the game was. I don't know, remember what we were playing. That's how much I blacked out. But mid banter in the game, you know how you're bantering with the host and you kind of want to say funny things? I asked either the host or one of the contestants, I was like, "Oh my gosh, how did you find out that Santa was fake?" And then little 6th grader in the front row was like, "What?
Oh
What?" And like
no.
he's
Oh no.
little buddy starts to cry.
Oh, he cries. He's on the
Yes.
front
He's like,
row.
"What? Santa's fake?"
Oh.
And I'm like, I didn't know what to
So he's dealing with two things at the
do.
moment,
Yes.
right? Number one, he's probably embarrassed that he's crying on the front row in
Yeah.
front of everyone. And then number two, he's finding out that there's no Santa.
Yeah. And my
Oh, poor
my
guy.
initial reaction was like, "Come on, bro, you're kidding." Or like I forgot
Oh.
what I said. So like I shrug it off and he's like still like, "What? What?" And I just see, and this is at this point 30 seconds later, I see my leaders in the back, they're just like move on. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
stop talking about it. And I just try to keep going, but he's like, "What?" And I see him crying in the corner of my eye. A student
Oh,
pulls him
poor
to the
guy.
side. Um, and that wasn't fun in the moment. How it was
Mm.
resolved was um one of the 7th graders, my guy, Big Mike is what I call him.
Yeah.
My 7th grader, he goes, "You know what?" I'll say his name is Tommy. "You know what, Tommy? Pastor Christian just doesn't believe in Santa because he never got gifts from Santa." So like,
Oh,
and so he kind of
I love
saved the
that.
day. He kind of saved the day, but
He really did.
still
Yeah.
in the moment, that was not fun. Leaders were like, "What are you doing?" And this kid is
Ah,
crying, like, "What?" The mid game. And then I
yeah.
did have to, that one was another awkward conversation with parent because when parent picked up, I go to parent and I'm like, hey, this happened, and then parent was like, oh, like
Oh,
it's like I didn't get to
poor.
tell him. Yeah, it was
Uh,
big
the
rookie
interesting
mistake.
thing is that kid will always remember that moment when he found out that there was no
Yeah, you know,
Santa.
you do as a
He'll
as
be
a youth
40 years
pastor.
old and he'll still remember.
As a youth pastor, you want them to remember church and remember youth group, but
Uh,
not to
yeah.
traumatize them or not to.
I'm sure that he has good memories as well, not just
Mhm.
that. And I'm sure at some point he'll find the humor and the good in it, hopefully.
Yeah, but that was funny. And it's been a few Christmases since then, at least 3 Christmases, and I have never made that mistake again.
That's good. Yeah, you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, I do.
Great stories. And what a
Thank
great
you.
like concept. Wish I had a trap door. So cool.
Wish I had a trap door. We all have those moments.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, you and I actually met through the youth ministry cohort with the
Hmm.
Youth Cartel, and you're in San Diego County, so
Yeah.
South San Diego, and I was in North San Diego, just moved to San
Yeah.
Francisco, like I mentioned. So if you're watching on video, this is not a green screen behind me, downtown San
That's
Francisco.
so cool.
Yes, and last time we saw each other in person was at the end of the cohort, um, and that was back in November. So we survived the holidays. Now we're in the new year.
Yeah.
As we wrap up our session, I would just love to know, like, what are you looking forward most to in
Mm.
2026 in your youth ministry this year?
Um, wow. I am most excited for, I'm gonna use the word depth. And like that's so
Mm,
vague, but I think as you know, and as we've shared in our cohort, we've experienced so much growth and we've scaled so much as a ministry. We doubled. But what we're seeing
oh
and what
wow.
we're desiring and really praying for as a team is to focus our curriculum on like real encounter and real relationship and real practical tools that students can use to share their faith, live out their faith, and be image bearers wherever they go. And so, even just last night, we taught them how to share the gospel. Like these
Mm,
kids, maybe they don't know, maybe they know the gospel in concept, but do they know how to share it? And
mhm.
um, and maybe some have tried, but maybe they overcomplicate it or simplify it a little too much. And so we gave them some tools. We gave them really cool, applicable, and easy things they can use. And so I'm just excited for that. I think it'll create depth in our ministry and in relationships with one another in discipleship. So that's what I'm excited for.
That's so cool that's on your heart, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, a lot of times whenever you're in growth mode, that's the one
Hmm.
thing that is lacking. So, you know, that's so amazing that that's on your heart and your team's focused on creating that depth and really discipling students and walking alongside of them. So that's really great. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Well, Christian, this has been fun. Thanks so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you.
Looking for youth ministry curriculum? Check out ministrytoyouth.com. We have tons of youth ministry teaching series, Bible studies, games, events, and more. The big thing that separates us from everybody else is our bundles. We have 1 year bundles and we have a lot of different bundles. We have seasonal bundles as well. So you can check out all of that at ministrytoyouth.com.